Hey everyone, it's the Man Master here. I am doing 3 videos today, and I tried to do them this morning, but my app zonked out on me that I was using this new thing. I'm getting a green screen, by the way, as well, probably in the next month or so. I'm going to be doing a lot more with the backgrounds and editing, hopefully editing down the road too. First, I want to just use my phone and use a green screen with some of these backgrounds and shit, but I'm going to be doing a lot more because I feel like I deserve it. So this video is about being a denier and how over the past year, there's been these polarized sides about a certain subject, a crisis that we are in. We're still in it. We're still in the crisis, regardless of what people say. Everyone's taking their masks off, so to speak, but we're still in the crisis. At least if you look at the raw data. So it's been quite a clusterfuck of mammoth proportions because, like I said in one of my previous videos, it's been a 2-year process for me to completely, utterly be decimated politically with regards to the Democratic Party and the left. It doesn't mean I'm right wing. I'm a nomad. That's what I am. I'm a nomad. That's what I am now. So I'm already canceled too. You can buy this shirt at T-shirts for Insanity at Spreadshirt if you can find that. I can post a link if people want to check it out. I've done a lot of shirts in the last 4 or 5 months. This is probably one of my absolute favorites, and I'm gonna be wearing it a lot. So it's just for fun. I don't give a shit, if people buy it or not. But if you find yourself feeling really, really compelled to buy them now, then do so. Using a little NLP on you, some conversational hypnosis. Oh my God, Anyway, I'm being really obnoxious. So I have probably been clumped into the denier category, and really, at the end of the day, there was only like a week or two where I was kind of a denier because I was like, nah, this can't possibly be, whatever. And I don't think I was a complete denier. I just thought that they were manipulating things even more than they were, which they, I did a better video early this morning, but I'm going to try to do the best I can to talk about this subject. So I'm sure that people want to call me that. I don't think that that's an accurate appraisal. Now, I know on the left, I've been guilty of this myself. When someone lacks empathy for something and they point to something else related to something, they will be called out for that. I've done it myself. Like, why don't you give a shit about the children that are making your phone? And you're yelling about this other thing. It's like, but that's going to be an important subject to bring up in this video. So there's been this thing, and the first thing was I saw this on Blabbermouth, this guy that I knew on Blabbermouth or from Blabbermouth on Facebook and stuff, and I sent him an article early on about the with versus from thing that I wrote, actually, that I got actual facts in. It's actually in, watch some of my former videos about this, and about the and that was one thing that I questioned. Now, at the end of the day, if I'm wrong, I'm fine with that. If I'm wrong about this whole thing, if my suspicions were out of line, if my sniffing bullshit wasn't really bullshit, it was real, it wasn't bullshit that I was sniffing, then I apologize. I do. However, I don't apologize about having those initial suspicions, especially now. Look at what's going on. You watch The Hill with Sager and Jetty, or whatever his last name is. I can't pronounce it. I don't want to try. Sagar, Crystal and Sagar, Crystal Ball, and talks about I'm going to use code words now. The Wu-Tang Clan, Han Solo, laboratory hypothesis. Okay, Now, this has been something that people were talking about a year ago when we were a Trump supporter. Oh my God, you're a racist. You're a racist by thinking that it came out of that Wu-Tang Clan laboratory. You're a racist, Trump supporting, problematic fuck. Fact check, fact check, fact check. You know, fuck you. You know, I mean, now they're admitting it. Now the Italian man, you know who that is admitting it too. He's sort of half admitting. He's like, well, we probably should do more investigation on that because it might not be. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, that's another vindicated moment for me, questioning all this stuff. And then when you have the governors of New York called into question, governors of California, all these scandals of various types, a certain software developers, very public, I mean, fucking John Oliver and people were talking about this shit, very public association with a certain sex trafficker, you know? I mean, it's not like the fire is the same, but we smell the smoke. Even if some of the fire might be the same, too, if you look into it, the smoke was there, so we should feel vindicated, anybody that's questioned that motherfucker, okay? There's no doubt, visiting the guy, like, as many times as he did for his divorce with Kevin Kline in makeup. Sorry to Melinda. Sorry, Melinda. Sorry. I don't give a fuck. All right. I'm just mad. All right. I'm already canceled. So, you know, it's pretty stupid to. It's pretty foolish to, you know, say that I was this problematic denier back when I was questioning those types of things. Another issue is back in the previous A Big Crisis 20 years ago that I called into question. You know, oh, why aren't you supporting our wonderful president? Even Democrats are saying this. Don't you want to get the terrorists? Oh my God! I'm just gonna say that. I don't care. They're not gonna fucking. All right. So my thoughts were like, well, there's something weird with this and the propaganda and all this stuff. Propaganda can go both ways. It could be good propaganda, like a public service announcement against smoking. It's still propaganda, technically. You know, like the lungs charred and out, you know, those pictures from the 90s. It was pretty fucked up. But if it, you know, some people probably didn't smoke because of it. It's propaganda. It's pushing people to do something or whatever. So the propaganda seemed very similar to me. And I go into this on my BitChute channel too, a little more, less code words. But when the propaganda seemed similar to me than that previous event, I was like, something smells funny. And that doesn't mean I want people to die, or I'm selfish, or I'm such a problematic piece of shit. I just had questions. I have questions with versus from. Now, if I could be wrong about that, the with versus from thing. Because I know that, for one, that wasn't always the case with this type of thing. I'll just say that, this type of thing. You can watch my previous videos on that too. And why they changed it, the wish versus from. I'll just, you know, I'll talk like Mike Tyson or something. I don't know. Wish, I don't know. Fuck my impressions. Why? When, you know, I'm just saying, if I'm wrong about that, like they did it because they wanted to draw people, you know, take it seriously so people pay attention, blah, blah, blah. If that's the only intent that they had, then I'm sorry. I am sorry. But when you're looking at it, this is an early thing too. This is like way early that I found out about this, like April of last year. And that was like, well, why are they doing this? You know? But if it's, and you tie things together, maybe they shouldn't be tied together, right? Maybe not, right? But that's the human brain does that. Human mind ties things together. And you can call it conspiracy, or you can call it coincidence theory, on the other side. It's coincidence theorists, you know. I believe that people should use that term more, because when you're called a conspiracy theorist, you should say, well, you're a fucking coincidence theorist, aren't you? You're saying that just like the man from Little St. James. I mean, what happened to him? You're called a coincidence theorist. I was just talking last night with someone about who said it seemed very mafia-like how he died, and guys studied the mafia in depth. Obviously, there's some political things that I have some differences with him on. He's a little naive with regards to a lot of stuff, but in my opinion, he's more naive. But with this, he was like, yeah, it sounded like some kind of a mafia hit thing, because I've studied how they do all the stuff and, you know, the mechanics. And the man from Little St. James, I'm not going to mention his name, being with a software developer, you know, obviously, what can we say at this point? I mean, they used to use the term last year, peak 2020. This is peak 2020s now, you know, and that shit started in 2019. I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm talking about like all this crazy ass shit. So, anyways, back to the subject of this video. I'm not a denier. I just happen to focus on different things than a lot of people focus on, because I see things. I feel like my role in society is to call things into question. You can call that iconoclast or contrarian. Sorry, I'm just making fun of some friends that have fucking called me that. But it's like, no, it's not. That's not it. I'm a critical thinker. And that's just the way it goes. When you have PolitiFact basically flipping on a theory that they decried a year ago, things have to be questioned. I'm not sorry. That's questionable, you know? So the problem is these, these people are, it's like this guy in Blabbermouth. He's like, a lot of, this. So what happened is this guy from this famous band's son died or something from, you know what? And this guy defensively comes out and says, I'm sure this won't please the deniers. So it's like, you're either a denier or you're a branch CO, you know what, idiot. CO blank idiot, right? That's the slang term. Or there's Six Hexenhammer does a different term too, which I like to, or you could say masturbators or whatever. You're either that or you're a denier. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts in between. Oh my god. This is actually turning out to be better than my video with my cool background earlier today. And it's a lot faster, because it was like 36 minutes already at this point where I was talking about this stuff. So I have questions, and I question the guidelines. I question why we should do all this stuff when the authoritized, this quote, what's that guy's name? Who I don't like that much, by the way. High Impact Flicks or whatever that dude's name. Authoritized, you know. I mean, when the authorities were violating their own guidelines, the mayor of Austin, fucking governor of California, that's the worst. See, that's the worst one, because it was like, just looked so bad. All these people, it's like, I guess I'm gonna still hang out with friends. And I did. I'm sorry, you know, when I saw that. And I was still doing it, by the way, carefully, mind you. You know, it's not like I was seeing like 1,000 people in a room, you know. It was just like, you know, 3 or 4 people here, you know, 2 or 3 or 4, probably about 10 people that had was a bubble. No, it wasn't a bubble, but you know, I mean, things that got really bad, maybe, I don't know. So, but I had doubts, because it's like a friend of a friend, it's relative, you know. It's like they talk about. It doesn't mean it can't happen to someone I know more personally, or it can't happen to me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, and then this all the social shaming. And the social shaming was like the previous crisis, because you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. You're a bag of germs that's going to kill people. You're selfish. You're probably Republican. nevertheless, people are coming out now on this weird nebulous like side of wearing the facial apparatus even after they've had the Action Jackson in there, and now it's like they're so confused. Same with the unemployment thing. Like, a lot of people aren't going back to work, and I think it's because of fear and confusion. I don't think it's only because they're lazy and just want to suckle off the government's teeth the rest of their life. Sure, that is a factor, but I also think people are confused, rightfully so. So I mean, if this crisis teaches us anything, it said never trust the fucking authorities, because they'll change their mind 180 about things like the Wu-Tang Clan, Han Solo, lab, hypothesis, right? It's just like, oh, and calling me a denier. I'm not a denier. I just call things into question. And just because I hung out with friends when I'm not supposed to, the city said you're not supposed to, doesn't mean I want to kill people or I'm selfish. They made the choice. We conversations about it too. I mean, there was a whole controversy with my role-playing group about that. And I was just like, yeah, well, it's up to them if they want to do this. They gave the consent. We did this throughout the whole thing. Now everybody, except for a few, have the Action Jackson. And that's the way it is. But, it's like, and if we would have known someone that got the spiked ball, then, things would have been weird. But this town actually was pretty good with regards to everything. Anyways, the numbers anyways, it was never that bad. So you can call me a denying selfish asshole. These people that call people selfish, let's just break it down for you. They're probably typing it on the Twitter on their iPhone that's made by fucking kids in a foreign country. They probably drive a car. They might not even drive a hybrid or electric car. Might be just a Honda Civic. Fucking gas going around, $4 million a year, supposedly from air pollution. They might be buying all these products from Amazon and shit. Walk the walk. Don't talk the talk if you're not going to walk the walk. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a fucking, virtuous person. But I'm going to point out the hypocrisy, even though I know I'm a hypocrite about a lot of things too. I realize that. But I own up, just like my whole thing. If I'm wrong about some of these things, if I was wrong about the authoritarianism or the agendas or narratives that were being pushed, then I'm sorry. I am sorry about that. If something happens, I am sorry. But I'm going to call those things out. That's my role. In this world, I know it's partly my role to call this shit out. It's been since the other crisis back then. Because I saw this shit. I was like, something's weird, man. WMDs, all that stuff. And I was fucking right. I was right. No matter what people say. They might not. People won't believe me and think I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, I fucking read art. Like, if I'm on the computer, I'm going to read like 20 articles in a sitting sometimes and shit. I'm not fucking around with this shit. I watch all these videos. I am not fucking around as far as information. And it'll feed into things and I'll sift it out and I'll find out what's going on. That's what happens. People thought like it's weird I can find these people that we never met, or we never met, never saw again from high school. I'll just do searches and do all this weird stuff and find people. I could be a fucking detective. Maybe I'm not that good, okay? But I'm just saying, like, that's what I do. And people fucking doubt me. They doubt my factual knowledge about things. But I was right. I was right about surface transformers. I was right about outdoor transformers. I'm just going to use codes here. Trans, like car, the thing in the car, the trans mission UK, right? Using code words. I'm still using code words because I'm fucking paranoid about this platform, even though it's getting a little better, honestly. But I was right about those two things, even though my fucking roommate made me wash this phone 50 times in front of them. I'm exaggerating, but it's like, even though I've been inside for a week and I was perfectly fine other than allergies, but it's like, and he wore the apparatus outside, I wouldn't. I'll be like, there's no reason to. And I was fucking right. There was never any reason to, unless you're maybe in a big crowd, maybe. Even that was rare. That's rare. You know, this hypocrisy, this flip-flopping, you know, and to call me selfish, to call me a fucking denier, when that happened, when I'm calling these things out, because that is the way it has to be. We have to get to the bottom of things. And people might think, oh my God, you know, to call me selfish, denying, and a denier, just because I question shit, you know, when I always question shit, when I see things, and there's things that are red flags, and I see them right in front of me, I'm like, oh no. And maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about this, which I might have been wrong about some of the things, obviously, and I already am. If I was wrong about this, I apologize. I want to remain peaceful in life, in the world. But, you know, it's like, I might have been wrong, but I do not apologize about my suspicions. Because some of those were right. It looks like they were. Like the Wu-Tang Han Solo lab thing coming out now in Washington, or Wall Street Journal, and I don't know if AP or some other people are talking about, and a certain a certain software developer, and even the Italian man himself, possibly, these governors, mayors, politicians, health experts, you know, it's coming out. Like Sagar is talking about how it's kind of like WMDs with the Wu-Tang Clan hypothesis, Han Solo hypothesis, Wu-Tang Clan Han Solo hypothesis. He's coming out about that. That's what he's coming out. It's like, holy shit, if they're like paying people and stuff, like the Nestle thing, my God, if that could watch Ordinary Things channel's documentary on Nestle, it'll blow your fucking mind. I mean, my God, you know, trust the experts, trust and believe the science. Okay, so when Nestle fucking paid off scientists, oh, we're gonna trust those experts. 3 out of 4 doctors recommend Lucky Strikes. Enough said, you know. That doesn't mean I don't trust them on basic points about this whole crisis. There are some things that are true. In fact, the more deep dive that you do into it, the more you realize the journalistic rhetoric and the propaganda from the media is bullshit. When you actually look at the actual science these experts are talking about, it's ironic, but it's true. So a little bit, a little more in that direction for sure. So I don't know. That's my little spiel about that. You know, denier, you're a denier. No, I'm not. I'm like a short period of time, I might have been sort of on that side. I never was though. I never was a denier. I just call out bullshit, and I have a sense of bullshit. Obviously, I'm vindicated now about some of it. In the future, I may not be. And that's fine. That's called being a human being that has critical thinking skills. That's all.